And that's going to do it for Live at 5. Thanks for joining us.
News Channel 4-6 starts right now.
You're watching NBC4 HD. And now, Chuck Scarborough, Linda Beccaro, Janice Huff, and Len Berman. This is News Channel 4 at 6.
Digital crime fighting. A look at how the NYPD is zeroing in on violent criminals.
Hot on the heels of Senator Hillary Clinton, tonight it's Senator Barack Obama's turn to take on New Hampshire.
Our troops, your neighbors. News Channel 4 travels to the Middle East to see how our Marines from our area are guarding one of Iraq's high-value targets.
Good evening. We'll have those stories in a moment, but first, a look at a snowstorm heading our way.
Well, that storm could bring snow and freezing rain to much of our area. John Marshall is tracking it. John?
Chuck, it's going to be a mess here tomorrow evening through Wednesday and throughout the tri-state area. Treacherous traveling conditions. Take a look right now at the storm system. It's located over the midsection of the country. You see a lot of rain. It's the past 12 hours. That storm is moving to the east. It's going to take a track close enough to the coastline to give us a wide range of precipitation for the next couple of days around here. And that's not good news, as we said. A winter storm watch is in effect from Tuesday night through Wednesday for the area shaded in purple. A winter storm warning for Sullivan County with heavy snow and ice is likely there. Here's what we can expect by tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock. Mainly snow throughout the tri-state area, getting into New York City. Enough warm air works into the system by Wednesday morning's commute to change the snow over to a mixture of rain and sleet along the coastal areas. Plain rain from Long Island down through southern New Jersey. Mainly snow to the north. And by about Wednesday, let's say 5 o'clock in the afternoon, on the backside of the storm, it goes over to all snow, even in the city. So there'll be a lot of problems there. How much? 1 to 3 inches in town before the changeover. 2 to 4 to the north of that, 4 to 8 inches of snow north of that through northern New Jersey and portions of the Hudson Valley. Linda will have more on the forecast coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, we'll see you then, John. And an inexpensive way to focus on some of the most violent criminals in New York. One city council member says the solution is as basic as point and click with a handheld digital camera. Andrew Siff has details that you will see only on News Channel 4. Andrew?
Linda, Chuck, could $100 cameras lead to a huge rise in successfully prosecuted domestic violence cases? One city council member says yes, and he's asking the city to put one of those cameras in every police car in the city. Real bruises on a real victim of domestic violence in Queens. They're tough enough to look at. Imagine what these injuries must have felt like.
A picture says 1,000 words, and in these cases, they say 1,000,000 very disturbing words.
City Councilman Eric Joya says these photographs emerged from a pilot program aimed at stopping violent offenders in Queens. Several police precincts got digital cameras instead of the old Polaroids. The result, according to law enforcement sources, a 20% jump in successfully prosecuted domestic violence cases. That's why Joya is now asking the city to spend $500,000 to put a digital camera in every police car. He says with up to 200,000 domestic violence calls a year, or 600 per day, there are 90,000 cases for prosecutors to wade through, and cameras could help put the abusers in jail.
In many cases, it comes down to one person's testimony against another's. And that's why it's so important that we have good evidence. And the digital pictures are irrefutable.
Police sources say the NYPD's domestic violence unit already has cameras at precinct station houses, which can be sent onto the streets if needed. And one source says uploading to computers and maintenance has been a challenge. And some critics wonder if the cameras might be used for the wrong reasons.
We certainly don't have any objection to police officers having cameras so they can collect evidence of crimes. However, to the extent the department is going to give video cameras or still cameras to every police officer in a patrol car, we would become concerned about potential privacy violations.
71 murders in New York City last year were a result of some type of domestic violence. So far, the council speaker appears to support the camera proposal. Whether the $500,000 budget item gets support from the full city council and the mayor remains to be seen. Chuck and Linda.
All right, Andrew, thank you.
Well, police right now are at the scene of a big bank robbery in Newark. Chopper 4's Jim Smith is live over the scene. Jim?
Yeah, Linda, initial reports, the bank was robbed just about an hour ago around closing time by two men here at the TD Bank North Bank on Springfield Avenue near the corner with Bergen Street. There are a lot of police officers here on the scene. They have completely blocked the building off. Reports from witnesses are that the two men made off with about $180,000. They escaped. No word yet on the description of those men. Police are canvassing the area. We can tell you that nobody was reported injured in this robbery. Live in Chapter 4, I'm Jim Smith. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Jim, thank you. City children will have more schools to choose from in the fall. Today, the Department of Education said it will open 20 additional schools in September, including elementary and middle schools. That's on top of 20 schools announced earlier. The city says the total of 40 new schools will ultimately serve more than 15,000 students.
The battle is on. Just as Hillary Clinton wrapped up her first presidential campaign swing through New Hampshire, Barack Obama has arrived there. Political reporter J.D. Dapper is with us tonight from Durham, New Hampshire, where Obama is expected to address a huge rally in just a little while. Jay?
Linda, that's right. We're in Durham because this is where the University of New Hampshire is, and this is the field house. The campaign expecting to fit a couple thousand people in here for what's promising to be a raucous rally. Starts in about 45 minutes from now. Barack Obama hoping to make this the first primary state, his springboard to an upset. The Obama campaign landed in New Hampshire this afternoon, fresh off a blitz of good publicity from its weekend launch, hoping to keep the momentum going with a huge made-for-TV rally at the University of New Hampshire. He comes to the Granite State trailing in the polls, but not by as much as some would expect.
She's solidly in the lead. She's at 35%, Obama at 21%. But that, to me, that's fascinating that you've got a guy who essentially is unknown. He's had one speech in the 2004 convention, and now he's at number 2 in the polls.
Indeed, while Clinton has the early lead, her weekend trip here was marked by repeated questions from voters about her 2003 vote to authorize the president's use of force in Iraq. In response, she took a veiled swipe at Obama and John Edwards.
It's very easy to go around saying, end the war now. If we had a Democratic president, we would end the war, but we don't.
But Sunday night in Iowa, Obama was direct in his criticism of her.
I am not clear on how she would proceed at this point to wind down the war in a specific way.
Granite State voters are likely to welcome the debate. They expect almost as a birthright to meet and question candidates personally. And no matter what they tell pollsters now, they don't generally make quick commitments.
I think they don't know yet where they're at, especially Barack Obama. I don't think he's really had enough experience to make any real decisions.
So you're still window shopping?
Pretty much, yes. Yep.
And in this field house tonight, at least at this point, the majority of the people are students. Not tough to fill a field house at a university. In fact, one political expert who follows New Hampshire closely said that both the Hillary Clinton campaign and Barack Obama campaign have done the easy part. They've staged big rallies. The tough part is getting New Hampshire primary voters to actually turn out on Election Day and pull the lever for them. The hard work is still ahead. We're live in Durham, North Carolina, on the campus of the University of New Hampshire, excuse me. There's 2 Durhams, aren't there? J.D. Dapper, News Channel 4.
All right, Jay, thank you. Rudy Giuliani is continuing his 4-day swing through California. He spoke to a Silicon Valley technology business group in Santa Clara today. Yesterday, he addressed the state's Republican Party convention. Giuliani has filed a statement of candidacy, but he has yet to formally declare for the Republican presidential nomination.
Mayor Bloomberg traveled to Washington today to talk about health care. In a speech at a national health policy conference, he emphasized that prevention is the key to solving America's health care problems. Right now, he said, we're paying for a disease care system, and in his words, the results are terrible.
Even people with insurance aren't getting the kind of health care they need. We are spending an enormous amount of money and not getting anywhere near as much as we should from it.
Mayor also took aim at insurance companies. He says they're more likely to pay for expensive operations after a person gets sick instead of paying for cheap pills that might prevent the illness.
An Army Ranger from Long Island has been killed in Iraq. 26-year-old James Regan of Manhasset was killed by a roadside bomb on Friday. He played football and lacrosse at Chaminade High School and went on to play lacrosse at Duke. He is the 3rd Chaminade graduate to die in Iraq.
Well, recently, News Channel 4's Michael Gargiulo got rare access to military operations overseas. Here's a look at the story that's coming up.
I'm Michael Gargiulo at the Iraqi oil terminal in the North Arabian Gulf. We'll tell you how some local sailors are helping train the Iraqis to defend what could be the most high-value target in their entire country. That story coming up.
Also ahead, Asa helps a local man cut through the red tape and get a refund for his wheelchair repairs. That story coming up.
A new Anna Nicole baby bombshell. Next, extra.
You think that you are the father.
Extra exclusive. He went from Anna's bodyguard to her secret lover. But could he be Danny Lynn's daddy?
It will come out in the DNA testing.
Next, extra.
Tonight at 7.
Dessert?
No, we're good.
Good? Melvin's not good. Melvin came here to have some fun. not count calories. Melvin Stomach says, bring me some luscious tiramisu, so Melvin Stomach should get some tiramisu. Maybe Rita's stomach doesn't want any tiramisu. But who elected Rita's stomach president of Melvin's stomach? Tiramisu?
Over 60 restaurants and shops, and so much more. Mohegan Sun, a world at play.
Good morning. Good morning. Thing is, aging doesn't happen one problem at a time. For me, first arthritis hit, then high blood pressure, and the Aleve I took for my arthritis pain, I learned it may interact with my prescriptions. It's a good thing I did my homework.
The pure pain relief of Tylenol arthritis pain works all day, and when used as directed, has less drug interaction risk than Aleve.
Absolutely, that's right. Very good.
Choose any road. The 2007 all-wheel drive IS250 from Lexus. Lease it for $399 per month for 36 months with $34.99 due at signing. For a limited time at your Lexus dealer.
I'm Pete. I've had nice bosses, mean bosses, short bosses, tall bosses, she bosses, he bosses, they bosses, serious bosses, nervous bosses, and one kind of funny boss. Now I'm the boss, and my plan is to keep the boss happy.
The freedom to do what you love is no small achievement, and we can help you get there. Fidelity is helping more people manage their retirement than any other company. Smart move.
I like my Subway pastrami sandwich fresh toasted.
With cheese, lots of cheese.
I always put plenty of mustard on mine.
How do I like my Subway sandwich? Check it out.
Introducing the Big Hot Pastrami Sandwich from Subway Restaurants. It's a foot-long with a mound of delicious pastrami, fresh toasted with melted cheese, pickles, and mustard. Pick one up today.
Where's my Subway restaurant? 14 stories down. They call me Mr. Big Hot Pastrami. Subway, eat fresh.
News Channel 4 recently traveled to the Middle East for a rare look at a military operation involving many Marines and sailors from our area. Michael Gargiulo is here now with the first of a series of reports we're calling Our Troops, Your Neighbors.
Linda and Chuck, we're going to begin with a visit to one of the most remote outposts in and around Iraq. It's the country's offshore oil terminals. And there we met up with some Marines and sailors from our area who are guarding what could be Iraq's most prized asset.
From the air, the Al Basra oil terminal may look like a pier that leads nowhere, but the U.S. military considers this facility, known as ABOT, along with the Kar Alamaya terminal, or Kayat, 5 miles away, to be perhaps the most valuable targets for insurgents in Iraq. It's through these two terminals that at least 80% of the country's oil is pumped into tankers docked here, as much as 1.5 million barrels a day, generating $75 million or more a day. U.S. and coalition warships circle the terminals constantly to try and keep away potential intruders. On the platforms themselves, U.S. sailors and Marines, along with Iraqi Marines, man machine gun positions. Among the Americans whose job it is to protect these terminals and to train Iraqi forces to take over the job themselves is Marine Lieutenant Colonel Dave DiEugenio of Toms River.
We've got the lifeblood of the Iraqi economy that we're protecting here. And the only way we can hope to be able to put ourselves in a position where we can transition ultimately is to be able to keep the revenue moving into the Iraqi economy.
The terminals were built here because the water is deep enough to accommodate the largest oil tankers. It's sovereign Iraqi territory because ABOT and Kayat are connected to Iraq's main seaport Basra by a 60-mile underground pipeline. But they're actually much closer to Iran, just 11 miles away. The military even believes the Iranians have placed monitoring devices on this sunken construction crane to watch what goes on here. That crane just a few miles away from the Kayat platform, which carries the scars of past conflicts.
You can still see bullet holes on this vent over there. This oil platform has been through 4 wars and it has the damage to prove it. During the Iran-Iraq war, it changed hands, in fact, 5 times. Then to top it all off, last year there was an explosion here, created all this wreckage.
It's gone back and forth. Iranians took it from Iraqis, Iraqis took it back from Iranians. We took some shots at it during Desert Shield, Desert Storm. You can walk through that platform, you can see bomb damage, you can see bullet holes. almost like counting rings on a tree, and trace it back through the different engagements over time.
As a result, life on Chaot means negotiating rickety walkways, avoiding rusted-out, crumbling platforms, and sleeping in a 3-story barge attached to the terminal. Quite a change from sailor Victor Marte's home in Highland Park.
You can never imagine it unless you're out here. I'm telling you, it's rough.
But maybe even rougher over on ABOT.
These are actual shipping containers that were brought out to the platform a couple years ago.
Here, Marines and sailors sleep 3 to a room in converted shipping containers stacked on top of each other. Iraqi Marines are brought out here for several weeks of training at a time. They do man some of the gun positions, but there are always Americans nearby. These weapons are the last line of defense, only to be used if intruders manage to get by the ring of warships. That's exactly what happened in 2004. When 3 Americans were killed in an attack on the platforms. The U.S. officers training the Iraqis say they're eager in making progress. But on this day, it's clear not all are ready just yet.
Fire.
Fire.
Pull hard. The biggest challenge, one, for us is a language barrier. I mean, that seems to be a huge across the board. Interpreters are hard to find sometimes, and for us, that's a challenge.
There's no firm date right now for the U.S. to hand over responsibility for protecting the oil terminals over to the Iraqis, which means more months of duty out here for Petty Officer Eric Melendez of Brownsville.
I know it's hard. My family understands it. I understand it. And just like I say, we're doing it for the freedom of the Iraqi people and us back home.
So the mission continues in this most unusual place, and unlike other parts of Iraq, the best thing that can happen here is nothing. Now, the military does try to make up for the isolation out there on these platforms with some perks. They provide pretty good food, which is shipped out from Kuwait. The sailors and Marines have also done the best to create a home for themselves. Photographer Neil Astro put together a video tour of the living accommodations, and you can watch it on our website, WNBC.com. Just look for the Our Troops, Your Neighbors link under the top stories on the homepage. So you really have to give the people who live out there credit, because it's 6 months at a time out there.
Oh, absolutely.
6 months without any R&R?
They get a day every month and a half. They'll take them over to Kuwait just for a little break, but then you're back there for
a day every month and a half.
That's it.
Incredible.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, Len's here with what's coming on sports. Len.
Well, the Giants cutting some big names today. Also, Mariano Rivera speaks out. Is this his last year as a Yankee? Bruce Beck standing by live in Tampa. And the Knicks are in L.A. Has the owner made his decision? Next in sports on News Channel 4 at 6.
On the next Access Hollywood, the Anna Nicole tragedy moves to the Bahamas. New autopsy stunners, drugs inside Anna Nicole's fridge. Was she using methadone, the same drug that killed her son? Next Access Hollywood.
Tonight at 7:30.
Empire's half-price home interiors sale. You'll save 50% on beautiful brand-name carpet, so you can carpet more rooms for less. Why stop with just one room? Save and do another room, too. With Empire, you shop at home and choose from a great selection, and we install next day. You'll save 50% with no payments till April 2008. Empire's half-price home interiors sale. Call now and carpet more rooms for less.
800-588-2300 Empire. Today.
With an exhilarating 258 horsepower VTEC engine, an intelligent performance-minded cockpit, double wishbone suspension, and true surround sound. All you need to do is get in. The TL from Acura.
Now you can lease an Acura TL for $369 a month for 36 months.
Tonight, our special series, Trading Places, Caring for Your Parents. The baby boom generation helping the greatest generation. NBC Nightly News tonight.
Now I'm going to show you the advantages of Optimum Triple Play. For just $29.95 a month, IO gives you more than 170 channels with your sports, soap operas, and the best movies. Plus, with On Demand, you can fast forward, rewind, and pause. Satellite can't do that. If you like speed, Optimum Online is 5 times faster than DSL. Download music, explore, and learn. There's nothing better for just $29.95 a month. Add more gas! And with Optimum Voice, make unlimited calls to the US, Canada, and Puerto Rico. Just $29.95 a month. Ask about our international calling plan. Optimum Triple Play. Get each one for just $29.95 a month for a year when you get all three together. You save over $500. Call 1-877-415-3325. Big savings!
When it comes to insurance claims or disability claims, many people find filing just the claims process intimidating or at the very least confusing.
Well, Ace is here now with the story of one man who was determined to get the benefits that he deserved.
And fortunately, his determination included calling us when he kept hitting a brick wall. As you'll see here, Michael is not the kind of guy to let many things get in his way. Let's talk time spans. First, it took just a split-second diving accident to leave Michael Martin a quadriplegic. And he spent the last 27 years proving that a tragedy does not have to define your life.
It wasn't easy, but life goes on and you have to make a fight of it, you know?
And last year, it took just 2 hours for a local repair shop to fix his motorized wheelchair.
The repair was the left motor, and it was for a total of $689.
So why has it taken more than 12 months for the benefit bureaucracy to pay the repairs? Michael's puzzled.
I get a prescription filled out by my doctor. I hand the prescription to Dr. Tony Wheelchair, and then they fill out the papers and submit all of the papers to Medicare.
It was rejected. He gathered all his paperwork and resubmitted.
And Medicaid denied it. It's not deemed a medical necessity. That's their words. It's not my words.
Well, we contacted Medicare and Medicaid, and we found out what happened. Since Michael's wheelchair was paid for by Medicaid, when his repair shop submitted the claim for the new motor to Medicare, they had no record of it. Since Medicaid, in this case, is administered by the state and Medicare is federal, there was some confusion. Now, at our request, Michael's case was reopened, and his wheelchair repair is being covered. And this man is fiercely independent, and he does not like owing anyone money. So, Michael, you can now rest easy that the neighborhood repair shop has received the check for the full expense, and it's just a matter of sticking with it, being determined, and finding the right carrier.
So tough. All right.
Okay. Thanks, Ace. The time for sports. Len is here, and well, of course, baseball season is beginning with a little controversy.
Contract season, too. Yankee pitchers and catchers report tomorrow, but there's news today. Yankee star reliever Mariano Rivera is in the last year of his contract, and he's hinting the Yanks better take care of him or else. Bruce Beck standing by in Tampa. Bruce.
Len, can you imagine the Yankees without Mariano Rivera, perhaps the guy who has to be considered the MVP of the Joe Torre era? Well, that was the hot topic today in Tampa, along with a couple of sidebars. Call it the old, the new, and the newly signed Mariano Rivera, Philip Hughes, and Kei Igawa. Let's start with Mo, who arrived in Tampa today and took his first throws of the spring. The future Hall of Famer is in the final year of his contract, and how he handles it will be big news.
Yeah, definitely I wanted to finish my career here, but, you know, if they don't give me the respect that I deserve, I have to move on.
But you're not treating it that you're not being respected now, are you?
No, I don't think so. You know, I won't say that.
20-year-old right-hander Philip Hughes might be the best pitching prospect in any big league camp. He was 10-3 at AA Trenton last year. Is your goal to be a part of this rotation or just do the best you can here and see the way it unfolds?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really decide what my fate is. I'm just going to go in and, like I said, show them what I can do, and, the rest is in their hands.
Left-hander Kei Igawa signed a 5-year, $20 million contract. The Japanese press is infatuated with him, and he's thrilled to be a Yankee.
I'm very honored to be part of the team and to wear the pinstripes.
Igawa is slated to be the 4th or 5th starter in the Yankees rotation, unless, of course, Hughes makes the big club. Either way, they'll need Mariano Rivera to close the game. And, Len, I don't think he's going anywhere. He offers the Yankees something the Red Sox don't have.
All right, thanks a lot. Bruce in Tampa. Big Giant news today. New general manager Jerry Reese shaking things up in a hurry, cutting 3 veterans, lineman Luke Pettigrew, and linebackers LeVar Arrington and Carlos Emmons all had injury issues. Knick owner James Dolan met with the players the other day, apparently through his support behind Isaiah Thomas. Here are the Knicks today in L.A.
Anytime you see the owner, it's either a good thing or a bad thing.
I'm glad he feels that way, and I'm glad the team feels that way.
if we won the same path as last year and he came in, I would have to imagine that this probably be the last couple games we saw Isaiah.
Well, apparently he's happy. The Knicks playing in L.A. tomorrow. As for the Nets, despite a rocky start where they were riddled with injuries, they've won 3 in a row. Now just half a game out of the playoffs.
We want to fight to get in the postseason, and right now we're not in the postseason. So obviously we're going to have to play at a high level for the remainder of the year to hopefully give ourselves a chance.
I'd rather have a bad first half of the season and a bad second half, because you want to keep that momentum going into the playoffs if you're going to make it to the playoffs, which we will.
Which they will. Spurs here tomorrow, and in the Spurs loss yesterday in Miami, Tony Parker for San Antonio on the drive. He's blocked by Dwayne Wade. Back come the Heat, and they turn it over. So Parker now has a second chance, and after getting blocked this time, he's blocked the second time. His fiancee, Eva Longoria, says this is a desperate situation right here. Sports. Okay. Thanks, Will.
Coming up, how much snow is coming and when will it hit? John Marshall will have the latest next.
First, here's a preview. What's ahead on NBC Nightly News?
Coming up here tonight, we begin our special series on caring for elderly loved ones. We'll have that, the rest of the day's news, straight ahead here tonight on NBC Nightly News, right here on News Channel 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to win big. The New York Mega Millions jackpot is now
over $105 million.
The Andersons just got this titanium HD beauty. The Romeros, this tricked out setup. All this high-tech stuff, and you're gonna hook it up to cable? Why? With Verizon Fios, TVs deliver incredibly lifelike picture, and computers get juiced with lightning speed thanks to America's top-rated internet service. Plus, now you can get it all for under $95 a month. Call today, because hooking up any of this to cable is a waste. Phone, broadband, TV, Verizon.
The buzz has begun. Will everyone survive to the end? In the weeks ahead, hero against hero. Drop your weapon. Who will succumb to evil?
Someone flies. Someone flies. Someone flies. Don't lie to me! Someone dies.
I only wanted to protect my family. All new heroes tonight on NBC.
No one is safe.
In honor of President's Day, your Honda dealer is making some very impressive offers on your favorite Honda car or truck. From the innovative Ridgeline and 8-passenger Pilot to the stylish Accord and ever-popular Civic. In fact, you could even say that no price is carved in stone. But we wouldn't, because it doesn't sound, very presidential. The President's Day celebration. Lease a Honda Accord for $199 a month for well-qualified customers.
I'm Pete. I've had nice bosses, mean bosses, short bosses, tall bosses, she bosses, he bosses, they bosses, serious bosses, nervous bosses, and one kind of funny boss. Now I'm the boss, and my plan is to keep the boss happy.
The freedom to do what you love is no small achievement, and we can help you get there. Fidelity is helping more people manage their retirement than any other company. Smart move.
Closed captioning provided by Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward.
John's in for Janice with the latest on the storm that's headed our way. John?
Linda, in about 24 hours, will be snowing around these parts. It's going to be a messy storm, not a snowstorm for New York City, but enough to cause havoc for the commute Wednesday morning. Outside, we're dealing with conditions that are tranquil. Empire State Building, red, white, and blue for Lincoln's birthday. Current reading in Central Park at this hour, it was a mild day. 38 right now at 6, cloudy skies, other statistics. The wind really not an issue, and actually it has gone calm. The humidity 44%, and the barometer slowly rising. The high today right on the money, 40 degrees. Last time we were 40 was in late January. Overnight low 28, no precipitation for the date. And around the region right now, temperatures slowly falling off to near freezing north of town. Still 41 degrees in Atlantic City, 34 degrees eastern Long Island at Montauk, but the Arctic air, it's on its way. It's 8 degrees in Watertown, 20 Ithaca. This air is filtering down from northwest to southeast, and then you add into the mix a lot of precipitation beginning to take shape over the midsection of the country. There's a storm system that will work to the east-northeast, but it will be Close call for snow to rain, and you're going to see why in the next couple of graphics we got for you. Overnight tonight, no weather worries, as we said. 21 in the city, 13, 15 degrees north and west, mostly cloudy skies. And for the morning commute, the clouds will increase. And then here comes that swath of snow with that area low pressure down over western North Carolina. Snow by about 7 o'clock in the evening, so prepare yourself. Morning commute won't be any problem, but the evening commute may, especially over the western sections. Mainly snow 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And then by 7 a.m. Wednesday morning, some warm air is going to work into the system, so the snow will mix with and possibly even change to rain over eastern Long Island, coastal New Jersey. With this purple band, there could be some icing problems. So again, treacherous driving conditions, and by Wednesday, about 5 o'clock, when that storm wraps up east of Montauk, some cold air gets infiltrated back into the system. We should see some more snow by then. Possible amounts before the changeover, 1 to 3 inches over coastal areas. Then it's going to be sloppy, and then basically we'll be gone. But 2 to 4 inches north and west of New York City in the areas in purple, 4 to 8, maybe 10 to 12 over the Catskills of New York State and Pennsylvania. Late snow tomorrow evening, 28 degrees. The first semi-big one of the season, I guess. We really haven't had any snowstorms this season so far. The wintry mix continues for Wednesday, 36. Thursday, Arctic blast, 23. In the icebox on Friday, and for Saturday, a little better. We'll take a 30. Overnight lows will be in the teens and very windy, but obviously we'll have an update at 11 with the latest computer guidance coming through.
All right, thank you, John.
Okay.
All right, coming up tonight on after Studio 60 of the Sunset Strip at 11 o'clock, off to work and nap time. How your boss could actually reap benefits from your afternoon snooze. We'll tell you that story at 11 o'clock tonight.
Interesting. That does it for News Channel 4 at 6. NBC Nightly News is next.
Thanks for joining us. Good night.
You've been watching NBC4 HD, the first station to bring you the news in high definition.